Brooke, Corey, Hearn, and Rhonda are nominated for double eviction. But who will win the Topaz Power Veto? Find out now on Big Brother Cheesecake 6 Hockey Sticks. Hello, I'm Andrew Shevsik Moonves. Welcome to Big Brother Cheesecake 6 Hockey Sticks. It's day 73 inside the Big Brother Cheesecake house, and this week Steven is the head of household in a double eviction week. He nominated Brooke, Rhonda, Corey, and Hearn for eviction, but the Topaz Power Veto will change the nominations. Who will win it? We'll find out shortly. But first, Jojo wanted me to remind everybody that it's not just Marcin and Curtis who watch the episodes to the end. He watches them to the end too. He wasn't very happy about that. But yes, it's true. Jojo is very supportive of the show, and I'm very thankful that he is watching the episodes to the fullest. And I also find it interesting that for somebody... This is not what I wanted to say, but it just came to mind, and Jojo's probably going to kill me, but... No, you know what? I'm not going to say it. Never mind. I'll say it. I can't believe I just said that. Okay, so let's move on to the Topaz Power Veto competition. It was Big Brother King of the Castle. I changed the rules of this competition from Season 1, when I last used it, to... that you are allowed to jump over dead spaces, but not over other house guests. The reason for this change, one, I always want to keep the competitions fresh and creative, and so I changed it a bit so that it was different. And two, there tends to be, and this was decided prior to the start of the season, but there tends to be a lot of, in the history of the chess competition, a lot of people ganging up on others. And, this season we have Mbop, which is, there's no secret anymore, Karen, Steven, Corey, and Rhonda. So the four of them were obviously against Brooke and Hearn, who I don't even know if they were working together or not. So it was at best 4-on-2. And, I wanted to keep it as fair as possible, and this made it more interesting in that there were more potential pathways or combinations of ways in which you could go. And I knew it was going to make the competition longer. I didn't expect it for it to be so long. It was almost an hour and a half by the time we were done. But yeah, so it came down to the trivia questions, which is what it usually comes down to. So first I will, with one of my favorite musical cues, I will show you the board and what happened. Okay, so the takeaways from what happened. Number one, I thought overall, Hearn actually made the best decisions. He got himself to the right side of the board where there was a lot of real estate, and if it wasn't for the fact that four people were going against him and Brooke, so it was kind of, and Brooke was off doing her own thing, but Brooke's path was pretty clear at one point because there were only so many. There was really only one path she could take, so it was kind of obvious where she was going to go. Um, so really, it became a 4-on-1 against Hearn, and if it wasn't for that, I think Hearn was on the right trajectory to getting the win. And if it was six people playing on their own for themselves, um, Hearn would have won. Typically, there's also sort of a saboteur element to this because typically when you have a group of three or four working together, one person becomes, I guess, greedy and wants the win themselves and does their own thing. And in orgs, I'm a very, very loyal player in orgs, but at the same time, I never throw competitions. So I've played Knighted, I believe, 4 times, and I've won 3 of the 4 because there's always a group of people who want to get a certain person out. And I nod my head like, yeah, I want to get Eric out, for instance. It wasn't Eric. It was somebody else. Who was it that they wanted out in that game? Well, whatever. We wanted a specific person to not win. And I let them do it while planning my own thing in advance so that I would win immunity. And so if that happens, that saboteur element, then it opens up the field for anybody like Hearn to win. But nobody in Mbop was what's the word? Not saboteur. They're talking about in the mole. Sabotaging. There's another word. Oh, Kevin uses it all the time for Backyard Mole. Shout out. By the way, Kevin and Aton, I may as well just do a thing. Kevin and Aton Aton was in All-Stars in Season 1. They do a Backyard Big Brother where it's a weekend, 2 days at their house, and they play with, I believe, 9. They always aim for 10, and it ends up being 9 house guests. So it's a live reality game. It's happening again in January, and if anybody watching is interested, I would love to refer people to them because I've taken so many people from Backyard Big Brother. JoJo's one. Hi, JoJo! If you're going to be in the Toronto area in January and you want to play a 2-day version of Big Brother, by all means, reach out to me and I will refer you. And Kevin is playing in the next season for the first time ever. Okay, so where the hell was I? Yeah, a word for sabotaging. No, there's another word for that. Distraction. Maybe I am thinking of sabotage. It's gonna come to me at 4:00 in the morning when I'm asleep. So anyway, in this case, nobody from Mbop was sabotaging. This feels so wrong. What is the word? It's gonna drive me mental. Hold on. Great. We should cue the Jeopardy music again. The mole, sabotage, synonyms. Disruption, interference, interruption, obstruction, destruction, subversion, undermining, conspiracy, treachery, and treason. None of those were the words I was thinking of. Impediment, complicity, crippling, occlusion, impairment, collusion, incapacitation, damage, ecotage. Maybe I was thinking of sabotage. Okay. I give up. Okay. So Mbop wasn't trying to do that. There was one moment. So that's the first takeaway. Hearn was playing the best overall. Steven did make a boo-boo at one point, which blocked Corey in. And I don't know how it would have panned out, but it might have given Hearn a fighting chance if he didn't go to that space. But at one point, Steven just made a boo-boo, and everybody in the group chat called him out on it and was like, oh, sorry, I went too fast. I'm on a surfboard. But in the end, as you can tell, Corey was eliminated first. He was blocked in, and he got his trivia question wrong. So his trivia question, you had to get only one right out of two. So, here we go. Is everybody ready? Let's get to... Oh, before we get to the results, sorry, one last thing. Sorry. This episode is... I'm super tired. Like, this week I've gotten, like, no sleep. So, I apologize for just being all over the place. The one thing I want to get to. The next Head of Household competition is a live competition, but don't worry, it's going to be much faster. It's about 15 minutes. And everybody in the house, they need to agree on two things. First, they need to agree on whether they want the competition Friday night at tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The second thing you need to decide is whether you want to have the eviction before or after we do the competition. Normally, I always have it before so that we can have the results in the episode. But this is a double eviction, so two people are going to be evicted, which increases the chance that one of them wins HOH. But also, what I say is about to be a spoiler, but also the house guests know who the two evicted house guests are going to be. So normally there's sort of the what if somebody stays, who knows, we're still voting. But the 6 house guests all know which 2 people are going to be evicted. So it almost kind of feels dumb to have them play. So you're going to vote on that. If it's a tie, we'll flip a coin? I don't know. I haven't even thought this. If it's a tie, we'll let the jury decide. There. The jury consists of Jonah, Andrew, Kately, Jonah, and Andrew. So there's 3 of them. There, they'll break the tie. There. Okay. I love how I just make this up as I go now. Okay, so now it's finally time for the results. Okay, so Corey did get his trivia question wrong. His questions were, who said, if you don't know who my target is, it might be you, in their final plea? He says Kately. That is incorrect. It was Jonah. The second one was, who said, I have met so many outstanding people. Seriously, where have you been all my life? In their final plea. He says Amethyst. Incorrect. It was Amy. So Corey was eliminated. The next person to do trivia was Rhonda, who said, don't listen to your heart, don't listen to your head, listen to me, in their final plea. She says Hearn. That is correct. So she earned a second shot, and she took the last space available on the board, which would have been Brooke's space that she could move to. So Brooke could have won the competition here if Rhonda had gotten that wrong. So Rhonda doesn't realize how good it was for her game to get that question right, regardless of the veto result. Next up to do trivia was Karen, who said, I'm pretty used to getting screwed over at this point, in their final plea. She says Hearn. That is correct. So she stays in the game. Next was Hearn, who said, I have zero interest in tearing down a fellow player. That's not the style of game I wish to play by, in their final plea speech. I don't know why, and I'm going to ask him an extra whip if he's evicted. He said Brazil. No, it was Amethyst, who said, unless you're at the top, you're at the bottom, and I can help you get to the top, in their final plea speech. He says Andrew. That was a good guess. Incorrect, it was Steven. Hearn is eliminated. Brooke, her trivia question, who said, if you feel I am this strong player, use that as your advantage and use me as your shield, in their final plea speech. She says Andrew. Incorrect, it was Corey. Last chance, who said, I hope at some point you all wake up to smell the truth, in their final plea speech. She says Andrew. That is correct. So now the last person to answer trivia is Steven. So let me set the stage here real quick. If Steven gets it, Wrong. He is eliminated. We then continue in the order on the board, which means Karen would be eliminated and Brooke would win. Rhonda would be eliminated as well. And Brooke would win because she was the last person on the board, the veto. So if Steven gets it wrong, Brooke wins the Topaz veto. If Steven gets it right, we eliminate everybody on the board after him, and it gets back to him because he's still in the game, and Steven wins the veto. So this is for all the marbles. His question, which by the way, this was kind of meant as a trick or a trap. I don't know if it trapped anybody. These final plea speeches that I just quoted, they were all from the house guest who stayed that week, not the house guest evicted. All of the quotes that I just gave were from the house guest who stayed. So here's the last trivia question. Who said, "People tell me they want to work with me, but when I talk to them about game, it just seems to be used against me," in their final plea? He says Brooke. That is correct, which means congratulations, Steven! You have won the Topaz Power of Veto. And you must use it tomorrow to save one of the 4 nominees from the chopping block. So, tomorrow, who will Steven use the Topaz Power of Veto to save from double eviction? Brooke, Corey, Fern, or Rhonda? And Sunday is the next live double eviction and head of household competition where another 2 house guests will be evicted from the Big Brother Cheesecake 6 house, lose their shot at the $600 cash prize, be eliminated from the 3rd round of the Stanley Cup playoffs, and join Kate Lee, Jonah, and Andrew in the jury house. I'm Andrew Cheswick, who invests. Take care, and remember, why is a puck called a puck? Because a dirty little bastard was taken. Good night.